Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Leland and Dr. Nupi. And today we're going to be providing you an amazing idea of how you can actually rediscover the art of living and not apologizing for it either. Okay. But we have none other than our dear sister, Dr. Nupi. Dr. Nupi, can you tell us a little bit about your background and where you're coming from? And also, what are you doing with us today?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So, I'm Dr. Nupi. I'm otherwise known as the glitter practitioner. I'm a doctor, I'm a family physician in the UK, and I'm also a speaker, transformation life coach, soon to be published author. And I have my passion is people, and my passion is guiding others, empowering somebody else to truly understand their whole self, their whole self health needs, not just the physical, it's the mind, it's the body, it's the spirit, and it is all combined. And what I want to share with you guys today is rediscovering the art of living unapologetically, being your bestest self, being your brightest, bravest, boldest, most badass self, which is what I call being you with bells on. And that is when you are aligned with your needs, rebalancing them, restoring them. And that's when you get to radiate this energy out, which is magnetic. And it starts with the awareness. It starts with recognize those needs. And everything goes from there.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in terms of work?
Yeah, so I am a GP and I've been a doctor, God, 25 years now, something like that. And for the most part, I have been a GP, family physician. And over the years, I have specialized in areas of medicine, which is it's all about the root cause. It's the what's beyond that presenting complaint. So I've held specialist leads in child safeguarding. I'm one of the domestic abuse clinical leads nationwide up in Manchester, and also trauma-informed care, deprivation medicine, all of these huge areas where it really is about when somebody comes in tuning in from here to the whole person and holding that space and listening, not just with your ears, but from your heart and holding that sacred space. And that is so powerful. The transformations I have seen other people go through throughout my medical career from holding this space, from sharing this holistic model of care, which is your baseline health needs, and combining that with the conventional medical model. And that's, I guess, something I have done and learned for myself. This wasn't taught in medical school, for example. This comes from my own experience of burnout, which broke me, but actually it allowed me to allow that light in. It did break me completely. It was rock bottom. And this was 13 years ago, but it was from that space of allowing myself to ask for help, to accept it, to acknowledge actually that I was so not okay. From that, that was the first step for me on my healing journey and my own awakening. And it wasn't easy at all. None of this is easy, but it can be done. I'm living proof of this. And what I created from my learnings, the knowledge, the skills, insights, the further studying I did, I incorporated that back into my medical career, and that's how my F list was born. And that's the framework I share and guide and teach others for the core foundation of their health and well-being. And it starts with that, which brings us back to owning your needs, understanding what they are, and knowing how to keep them in balance, mind, body, and soul. And my F list framework is, I call it my holistic prescription, and it guides somebody how to do this. Because when you're not well, when you're not feeling well, physically, emotionally, everything comes out of balance. And these baseline needs are often the first things that you just completely forget, and you don't do that self-care for self. And this is what this teaches. It's self-care that makes your soul sparkle. And it is magical. It really is. And that's where the glitter comes from. And it's just, oh, amazing. I love it. I love sharing it. And that's my legacy. That's what I want to share with the world. That's the whole point.
I love it. I love it. Now, today we're going to talk about some of those F lists that we're going to share, and for the people who actually are buying on this video. So the first one, let's talk about pause. Can you explain a little bit and expand on what that means?
Yeah. So the three key things that come from the F list are pause, perspective, and power. The pause is this crucial time. It's that gift to self. And, it's everything's whirring round, things, I've got this to do, this to do, this to do. And it's allowing yourself that time to go, okay, and breathe. And actually, the first three Fs, which these pause, perspective, and power, this is really embodied in the first three Fs of my F list, which is F off, focus and breathe, and flip. The F off is not to be rude. It is a reminder. It's almost like putting a stop to the lizard brain, to the monkey side of the brain. And it's all the, oh my gosh, it's the fight, it's the flight, it's the fear, it's the fawn response. It's that absolute, come on, let's get ready to combat here. It's about staying in a zone of calm and enabling yourself to still think rationally and actually not get lost in the whole drama of what's going on. It's responding as opposed to knee-jerk reacting. And that F off keeps you here. And that goes hand in hand with focus and breathe, which is the pause. And it's in that time, I say, you can bend time. 4 5 cycles of what I share is box breathing. And a couple of minutes feels like about 20. And you keep yourself centered and grounded. So part of what I'm going to sort of gift and share with people is, it is that box breathing, but I put a visualization with it, and it's a clearing, it's a cleansing visualization, it's a grounding exercise, and it's literally going round the box, knowing the breath work that goes with it. It is so powerful. And you buy yourself that time, that space to then examine, okay, what else could this be showing me? And it's a way of keeping here in this present moment, as opposed to getting caught up and running away with yourself, running away with all these mind, the thoughts, the critter chatters, what I call it, the negative beliefs, all the things that start blocking you to the past, where It's already happened. I can't change it. I can learn from the past and bring that learning to the present, but the past doesn't have to define me. And it's these rabbit holes of rumination that you can get stuck in. Same with the future. You can manifest if and when you're in alignment and you've done that work. But the what ifs and buts that haven't even happened yet, again, you're wasting this beautiful energy of yours. It's about being present. And that's what F off, focus and breathe does. It's like an anchor.
I love that.
And then it's staying in your zone of power, the things that you have control over, the things you can change, the things that you can empower yourself, your physical health needs, your emotional health needs. And that's where the F list comes in. Because you can only change the here and the now. You get to choose, though.
Yeah.
And
And
that
I
is
love
the
that.
power. Yeah. And that's the
That
power that's within you. And that is where the art of living unapologetically comes from. Because you get a choice in this. This doesn't happen. You get to choose. And rightly so.
it's your life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's your life.
Yeah.
So you better choose
Yeah.
wisely, right? Like
Yeah.
literally. So I love that. And
Yes.
let's continue
Yes.
this conversation on perspective, because perspective
Yeah.
is a huge deal. It is, because of
Yeah.
how you think a situation can
Absolutely.
really
Yeah.
affect your future and your mood, like right
Yeah.
now, how you
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely. And perspective is key. And I think this is why I spend quite a bit of time on this, because how one person's backstory is not somebody else's, but it's our backstory, it's the culture we've been brought up in, it's generational as well, society, it's everything, but it's how we view the world. And one person's perspective is not somebody else's. Somebody in the same household are not going to have the same perspectives. But if this perspective is marred by negative thoughts, negative belief patterns, things that you're not maybe even conscious of, but the result is, oh, all this crap's happening to me, or oh, I'm bogged down with all these things. And the flip side of that is, what are these things that are bogging me down? What else could this be showing me? It's about giving yourself that time to reflect and then start actually checking in with yourself. What else could this show me? How else could I view this? What else could be done? And it's allowing yourself to see the flip side. And that's the third of the first three F's: fuck off, focus, breathe, and then flip. And that is allowing yourself to challenge those negative thoughts or patterns of beliefs. Where's the evidence for this? Where's the evidence that this means this? And very often there isn't the evidence. It's our own fear-based thoughts and beliefs that are holding us back or imprisoning us or keeping us chained. And at the end of the day, your thoughts do not define you. You can tune into your feelings. You can tune into what's coming up. It's taking notice of it, naming it for what it is, take away some of its power, and reframe. And it's also, this is the crucial bit, it is turning inwards with the same care, compassion, courage, and curiosity as you would share with somebody else, like a toddler or your child, when you're teaching them these concepts of how to view the world and how to be and how to be grateful and to be kind and all these things. Creative, all these beautiful things that just children just do, and they completely embrace it. But as you get older, you kind of shut things down. You shut down the creative side. And all of a sudden, you're kind of defaulting and your perspective changes. It's having the wonderment of a child. It's not being childlike, but it's taking that joy, that wonder of the smaller things, of the littler things. And I guess that's joy, that is gratitude as well. And you can really harness that. And again, it's seeing a flip side. The number of times, for example, with patients, chronic disease, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, all of these conditions which are chronic and tough to deal with. But again, these labels, these conditions don't have to define you. And that's hard when you are in chronic pain and when everything feels like everything's weighing down on you. And that's where I share this particularly, because allowing yourself to be bogged down, it's going to make your symptoms worse. Your body's talking to you. So you can only go through things, I guess, knowing this is what it is. I'm constantly trying to battle it, and forget this is happening. It's embracing it, working with your body, and actually looking at a different perspective of this is where I'm at now, and this is not going to stop me.
That is so powerful. That is
Yeah.
so powerful, because you're right about when you mention just because you live in the same household doesn't mean you have the same perspective. And it's so weird seeing both of my kids. I swear I raised both of them at the same time. But like when
Yeah.
there's an argument or if
Yeah.
there's something and I'm like, did I raise them all at the same time? I did, right? Like I have to question myself
Yeah.
sometimes because one of my
Yeah.
daughter cooks and the other one doesn't know how. And I'm like, I've been teaching you guys to cook. I don't understand. And the other one is like magician in the kitchen, and the other one's like, ew, no, I'm not touching anything. I burned. Um,
That was me. That
right?
was me.
And I was like, I don't understand. And then they will burn water. She burns
Yeah.
water. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's perspective. It's like, okay, how do I actually see that I raised them the same, but they have different perspective of what is taking care and what is self-care and what is cooking means and all that.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
it comes
Yeah.
to children, and you said,
Yeah.
we lose that passion, that curiosity when you're little and you want to just do
Yes.
stuff. As an
Why?
adult,
What's
we lose
this?
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Or it's about getting back in tune with your inner child. And that needs healing sometimes. And I talk about this quite a bit, actually. And it's, your inner child is often, there's parts of you that need that care and attention. And as your adult self, it's retrieving and giving that care, that love, that compassion. And the shadow side of self, which is, I liken this to, your critter chatter or your inner critic. All of these things, that side, it's duality. It's light and dark. It is yin to yang. It's perspective. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
But it's when you start learning what is shadow self. So that is the side or the denser energies of that fear-based reaction, and I'm not good enough, and that shame or whatever it is that keeps holding you back. Everybody's different. But it doesn't need to define you. It's shining the light on this and embracing it almost and flipping it. So that fear about something, or that fear that makes you think I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't do it, I can't, I'm rubbish at this. And it's actually going, okay, well, what does this mean really? Have I not prepped enough? Perhaps maybe I need to do it differently next time. What else could I have done? How else could I view this? And then you learn how to integrate this as your alarm clock almost. So when those negative connotate, the feelings come, you're paying attention to what your body's saying. And then you're recognizing, aha, yep, got it. Okay, thanks very much. You can go right back down here now and learn how to navigate through that.
I love that. That requires self-awareness though, because sometimes I think
Yes,
people who stay in the
huge.
victim's role
Yeah,
always just question, like, instead of questioning on their part of the problem, they question about
yeah,
what the intentions of the other people and how the other people are
yeah.
doing this to
There's
them, and
all,
other
yeah, it's
person is
everything.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Self-awareness is,
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
it's really key to
So,
perspective.
yes.
Now,
And that
power.
is the whole point, power. Exactly. So that self-awareness is key. One of the fundamental principles behind the F list is when you are in tune with yourself, with your needs, you have an expanded awareness, not just of yourself, with others, of others, and the world around. And it's from that space that you can see somebody else's perspective, because there's always two sides to a story. And it's the ability to come out of your trenches almost and examine, what does the other side feel like? If I stood in your shoes, how would I feel? And it's having that capacity to bend and be more fluid and flow. And that is how you grow from this. It doesn't have to be the be and end all, but you can grow from that. And power is your power. It is you. We are limitless in our potential and in our power. It's learning how to tap into that inner wisdom, and that I'm tingling now, top to toe, even just sharing this. It is the glitter. It is all, it's your inner light, which never goes. It might get smaller. That's okay. It never goes. But it's how you stoke it back up and actually stand in your own power, which is being in tune with yourself, being in tune with your needs, knowing how to recognize them, how to rebalance them, how to keep them restored. And that's when you radiate this, your beautiful light, your fizz essence, your energy, the sparkle, the fizz. And that is when things all of a sudden, oh gosh, everything feels like, yeah, light. It's flowing. But at any step along the way, even the crap stuff, it's coming up for a reason. It's learning how to detach, observe it. It'll also pass. The feeling will pass. The situation might keep coming back in different guises until that lesson's learned. And you take what it is that's needed from that, which is invariably, and you got to dig deep sometimes, yes. You got to dig deep to find the treasure from it, because there's always what looks on the surface black coal and bleh. There's always nuggets of gold, or I like diamonds or gemstones, whatever, sparkles. There's always something to retrieve.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you said that, because that's exactly what I'm thinking. Because, when I've been asked so many questions, especially coming up with the book and stuff, and
Mm,
people are asking, like, wow, don't you wanted and wish that your mom and dad was with you growing up? And I said, I do, but I don't. I
yeah,
think when I was younger, I did wish it, because it was
yeah,
very cold. But now I know the reason for that specific of
yeah,
event is because I
yeah,
needed to be the light for others. I
yeah.
was born and made to keep that in mind, so that I can be grateful for what I have now, and that I can be an
Oh,
inspiration and hope to others who grew up the same. I'm not alone in this world to be
no.
abandoned. And my mom came back to me and called me, and she's like, "I'm gonna spank you now for saying you've been abandoned as a child." And I was like, and my mom was like, I said, "Mama, honestly, I know your intentions wasn't like that,
Yeah.
but the end results was still the same. You left.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you left me until I was 17 and 18 when I met you again. Age 7 was the first time I met her for 12 hours. And then after that, I didn't meet her until I was 18. So,
Blimey.
yeah, I grew up with no mom. And then my dad, I met him when I was 13. And then I was with him until I was 18 and I left the house at 18. So, when people
And it
ask
was your
about it,
grandma.
yeah,
Was
I
it your
was raised
grandma?
with my grandma. Yeah, so
Mm.
she, and it wasn't easy, but I think she made it easier for me for sure, as her best as she could possibly be.
Mm.
Living in a third world is a different constitution when it comes to here.
Yeah.
We had no
Yeah.
lights. We barely, we have like people here have blackouts, like a running blackouts, and I just laugh when they start panicking. I'm like, we didn't have lights at all. You'd be lucky if you had two
Yeah.
hours, and we didn't
Yeah.
even have a fridge. Everything we did was fresh, and we had a farm because we didn't have the ability to freeze
Yeah.
anything because there's no
Yeah.
electricity,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's because now you're right. You have to look at that lessons learned. At the moment, it's
Yeah.
so harsh and it's so maddening and it's driving me
Mm.
insane and the hurt and the pain and the
Yeah.
all that stuff and the questioning yourself like I should have seen this. I should have seen this coming, but you couldn't because the point of this lesson in life is for you to extrapolate what is
Yeah.
good about this
Yeah.
situation,
And
right?
what can I take from it? What would I do differently next time?
Yeah.
And it's being kind to yourself. I'm not for 1 minute diminishing somebody's backstory or trauma, because believe you me, where I used to work, that, as one of the child safeguarding leads and domestic abuse clinical leads, I've seen this spectrum of human behavior, and it is what it is. It can be horrific, but and you can sometimes think, what can I learn from that? Where is the sense in that? It's allowing yourself to constantly come back to your own sense of self and go, I am loved, I am guided, I am protected, I know my worth. And sometimes you've got to say that a zillion times a day, and for those words to resonate the frequency like a force field, because you won't feel it, not yet, not until you've been F-listed and then guided through this.
This is a gang initiation, guys.
I
If
couldn't
you
I couldn't
didn't
help
know it
myself.
already.
It's true. It's so
Yeah.
true. And it's holding that space for somebody, and it is hope, and it's honestly, it's a privilege. It really is. And when I've seen people's eyes, in their eyes, literally the light coming back because they've done this for themselves. It could be 3 minutes of breathing and just validating, you know what? It doesn't have to be like this. That is, you're planting seeds. It's love. It boils down to what joins us as human beings is that unconditional love. And I know that might sound really soppy and
No, it's not. It's
very,
true. It's true. I do
that's
see
the
that.
truth.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
And that is what people feel. And that's what my patients would always say. It's it's like you sprinkle your words with glitter.
I love it. Now, I know that we're coming up to the end, and so I
Oh,
wanted to also provide the people who's buying this video for the Global
yes.
Summit
Yes.
to get a hold of you if they wanted
Yes.
to work with you and transform their lives, to dig deeper on how one person can rediscover the art of living that doesn't have to apologize for anything and their bads and goods and everything by pausing their perspective and power. And you have a true F list that you're doing as
Yes.
well. So go ahead
Yes.
and let them know what are some of the things that they could get from you from this summit and also a special from this summit moving forward.
Sure. Thank you. So, first of all, it is some of my golden nuggets that I really want to share It's it's a snapshot of the F list, basically. You can also, there's a link attached, but there's a workbook that comes with it. I'm really hoping my F list book comes out by the time of the summit, but it might just be after. So just watch this space because I'll have other links attached. And ultimately, this works. And, you know, the list, it's so much more than a list. It can and will transform your life. And watching the video, I'm going to be doing some tiny little short videos as well that goes alongside it. So you have a working knowledge of actually what each one means. It really comes to life having the input as well. And that can be done on a one-to-one basis. It can be done as a group basis. It is adaptable to the person, to the needs, and I'm open to that suggestion, really. But in terms of further, yes, you know, I have a coaching program. I have a course. It's more of a workbook, really, that walks you through it, and it's more video content. So there is access to all of this.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're
We will
welcome.
see you rocking stage. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.